And we begin with President Park Geun-hye's address to the nation at the National Assembly that wrapped up around an hour and a half ago. Let's get an overview of her remarks with our Presidential Office correspondent Song Ji-sun, who is on the line from the nation's top office. Ji-sun.
Good afternoon, Mark. The president began with a focus on national security. Citing her continued efforts to establish peace on the Korean peninsula since she took office, with her trust-building process and vision for reunification, she denounced North Korea for responding only with advanced weapons technology, which exhibited once again with its fourth nuclear test last month and the long-range missile launch that followed just a month later.
이러한 우리 정부의 노력과 지원에 대해 북한은 핵과 미사일로 대답해왔고 이제 수소폭탄 실험까지 공언하며 세계를 경악시키고 있습니다. 국민 여러분, 이제 기존의 방식과 선의로는 북한 정권의 핵개발 의지를 결코 꺾을 수 없고 북한의 핵 능력만 고도화시켜서 결국 한반도의 파국을 초래하게 될 것이라는 점이 명백해졌습니다. 이제 더 이상 북한의 기만과 위협에 끌려다닐 수는 없으며 과거처럼 북한의 도발에 굴복하여 퍼주기식 지원을 하는 일도 더 이상 해서는 안 될 일이라 생각합니다. 이제는 북한을 실질적으로 변화시키기 위한 근본적 해답을 찾아야 하며 이를 실천하는 용기가 필요한 때입니다.
She called for a new approach to resolving North Korea's nuclear ambitions and said South Korea should be more proactive in working towards that goal, including building support for stronger international sanctions on the North. She then moved on to explain the reasons for her recent decision to halt operations at the Inter-Korean Industrial Complex in the north border city of Kaesong, saying that she could not let the South Korean people be held hostage as tensions rise between the two Koreas. Park pledged that the government would do its best to compensate for the losses incurred by the investors and entrepreneurs who left their facilities, assets, and products behind. Over the past few months, the president has been saying that legislation is what completes the government's policy initiatives, and she once again called on lawmakers at the National Assembly to swiftly pass long-pending bills directly related to improving people's livelihoods. That includes a package of labor reforms aimed at creating more jobs for young people, as well as a bill to foster the growth of the service sector, among many others.
서민의 아픔을 달래고 경제 활력의 불쏘시개가 될 법안들에 대해 편향된 시각을 거두고 국민 입장에서 통과시켜 주실 것을 다시 한번 간곡하게 부탁을 드립니다.
And finally, she wrapped up with a message to South Korean people. Showing her appreciation for their trust in the administration, she called for greater support in her drive to change the North and pledged that she would not look away from the people suffering in North Korea. President Park closed her speech by asking both lawmakers and the public to work toward building a peaceful and prosperous Korea. After the address, the president rushed back to the presidential office for a cabinet meeting, where she called for full military readiness against North provocations and ordered her economic chiefs to be on standby for any market fluctuations that may follow, on top of the recent jitters in global markets. Back to you.